Alrighty. We're gonna go ahead and let the video explain who Brother Abdul is, and then we're gonna get into it because I feel like it's massively important. So here we go, starting off right here.
Originally built a Better Hood, we started in Serrano Ranch with the after-school art class, which our purpose is to form that intrinsic relationship with the kids, to trust, so that we can start, getting them to allow us to teach them. Because a lot of these kids, what they're used to is people popping up with programs and then leaving. And so what we're doing right now here at the Villadale Mall, we have the after-school art and reading class, which started off 15, 20 kids, and now it's gotten up to, 40, 50 kids sometimes. The donation closet, we send out requests for donations to, it's a lot of baby requests, a lot of stuff for babies and things of the such. And so right now we're presently doing the women's empowerment class again, the boundaries class, a cultural awareness class for the youngsters, the teenagers, to get them to understand the culture. First it's about the acceptance of what they're in before you can explain to them it's wrong. They need to even understand what it is that they're doing.
Abdul sometimes comes here and he will, some of us will come here every day and ask for a job, and he'll give us some jobs. Like me and another friend came in here and we helped some kids with art. That's another what I do.
And what do you get for doing the job?
At least $5.
We all kind of got together and spoke about what we wanted to do to the community, what we wanted to see for the community, and what we wanted to instill in our kids. And I say that was 4 years ago. To this day, Abdul is still doing exactly what he said he was going to do 4 years ago.
We're all here to create a pathway for all Fort Worth residents to rise up into success. And right now I want to invite all the children to come up here and speak on how they came to know us at We Can Build a Better Hood.
Right now I'm staying here. He gave me a place to stay. I thought I was almost homeless. And I never really had a role model or anything, but when I look at him, he is somebody to look up to. And he gave me another purpose to be positive and do what I'm doing and stay on the right track.
This man goes, everybody always say, oh, yes, you do so much, yes, you do so much. But man, I'm going to tell you something. Come 2 o'clock in the morning, sometimes Justin sleep. Justin sleeps in his bed. But that man right there, that man out there he's in the trenches.
He keeps us out, out the streets and stuff. The trail's it's bad down there, so he was you can be positive around bad stuff.
He's gonna make sure they learn something, and they're gonna be able to take something back with them. He teaches them what I try to teach them all the time. That's purpose. Give them a reason to do something better.
They made a lot to go there and get out the street.
You're looking at a man with redemption. He bringing it all together for just the kids. He bringing it together for the community in a whole. So when I say I'm behind him 100%, I'm behind him 100%. And I hope you will too.
Everything's gonna get better for all of us. But everything gonna change. It just gotta take time.
First off, I'm gonna get that to you.
Appreciate you, brother. I appreciate y'all, man.
That's beautiful. A lot of us strive to want to do that. A lot of people don't understand. A lot of us really want to do that. And for some, they just talk. They just really talk. And I really want to get it out the right way for you, because everybody's so hell bent off of destruction that one person is causing And we're not here to essentially bash anybody, but the truth is the truth.
Right.
You know. And that's something people can't handle. I don't care. You know.
Right.
So why don't you do this? Why don't you get into your background for those who don't understand and those who don't know? And to my OGs, if y'all can mute the mic real quick on y'all, just so we can get his word out, I'd be greatly appreciated. And then when I let y'all know, please unmute yourselves. But Brother Abdul, go ahead and get into your story real quick. If you know, and I don't want to say in a few words and everything like that, but the strong points of what you need to say.
First of all, I want to give a praise to the universe, our ancestors, and I thank you, brothers, for giving me an opportunity to speak to the people and to represent what it is that we're trying to do. You know, that last video you showed, man, it was really a heartfelt, because the little young brother in the blue shirt, JJ, when they sent me back on violation, you know, my community center on the Las Vegas Trail, we opened up 3 small community centers out there, and it was the only place for those kids to go. They don't have a community center. They don't even have a basketball court to play at. And when I got incarcerated, when I got in violation, JJ, you know, he got killed. Little young brother was he was a young prince, man. I've never seen a young man with so much dedication and sincerity about helping his mother and his little brothers and sisters, man. So that really kind of took me back when I saw that video of seeing little JJ speak like that. You know, the thing is that and not to even speak about any of the nonsense, it's about effective and ineffective leadership. A lot of people do not understand that it takes individuals that have had experiences, whether it be from a drug background, press the ending, a drug background, or incarceration, gangs, whatever it may be, whatever experiences that the universe has allowed you to have, we can utilize those platforms to be able to connect with the people. So I don't in any form of fashion feel shamed about anything that I've been through. You know, we have been out here 10 toes down from the jump, trying to get things taken care of off inside of our communities. I come from, you know, I got off inside this when I was 14 years old. I stole my mom's car, drove to California trying to get down with Ruthless Records. And that's how influential music is to a lot of young people. People don't understand. My cousin at the time, I got locked up in Los Angeles Juvenile. I didn't get to meet Easy. And I had to stay in LA, in Pasadena, rather with my auntie, because my pops was going to kill me because I took their brand new car, right? And so my cousin, you know, she had a boyfriend at the time who was a rolling 60 Crip. And, you know, he took me and rode me around, and I didn't see a gang at the time. I saw a brotherhood. And so when I came back to Fort Worth, it was just cripping with me, right? You know, it was something I was fascinated with. And I started one of the first Fort Worth, Texas based sets off the street we came from, which was Las Vegas Trail. From that point in time, you know, since then, you know, Fort Worth became the murder capital of the nation per capita. A lot of the Crips and Bloods came down, and a lot of wars went on. 94, I ended up calling a gang truce. And it reduced crime in the city over 48%. Now, I've had more problems with the police and more problems with the government when I was about peace and unifying our streets than I've ever had when I was gangbanging.
Right.
You know, they sent me back to prison on a violation for a technical violation. And right before the truce, let me jump back real quick and I wrap this up. I had did a protest when I was 18 years old about police brutality and black on black crime. And it was ironic because I was knee deep in genocide at the time, but it was something that was instilled within me, inside my people, my moms and them. You know, they were church going people. They were soulful people. And it was just something at the time that I just, you know, so much bloodshed, watching so many homies die in the streets. And so when I went to jail and called a gang truce, they sent me back. I come back out of prison after 5 years, and I put together something called Guerrilla Records. And Guerrilla Records was the first revolutionary record label that had real Crips and Bloods on it down here in Fort Worth, Texas. And, you know, the police, I saw it as a move of trying to show brothers that we could do something outside of selling drugs. They saw it as an intimidation tactic because they seen us coming together and we wasn't tripping. So you got 20, 30 Bloods, 20, 30 Crips mobbed up, doing shows with each other. We're not tripping. We selling CDs and selling music and pushing the revolutionary tone. Set up, got locked up after going back to Cali for 3 years. And I got 20 years off in a jury trial, man. And while I was inside there, I put together something called United Hoods of America, looking for influential brothers all across the country. And I ended up litigating my case. I got my paralegal license. I won 2 appeals, came home in 12 years instead of doing the 20 or the 18 years. and been doing Build a Better Hood ever since. Went back, got straight up into the community, man, and started finding brothers who was talking about repairing and reconciling the differences that we called in our communities. And let me just say this, it's obligatory for us, those of us who've been in the streets. It's not optional. It's obligatory for us to come back and tell these young people the consequences of the game.
Indeed, indeed. So brothers, go ahead and OGs, go ahead and unmute yourselves. We're gonna get into it real quick. So brother Abdul, we gotta start it off this way, right? Elephant in the room. Now, you got the man's Charleston White, who's gaining a crazy reputation for outlandish comments, causing a lot of division and everything like that. And I want to ask you this, even though I know the answer, but they don't know the conversation in which we had. But I want to ask you this about Charleston White. How much of his story is truth? And how much of his story is actually your story?
I met Charleston at a function that we were doing, Donuts for Dad at Dunbar High School. He heard me speak, pulled me over to the table, said he got all these white folks, but he ain't got no programs. I found out that he had access to a lot of our young minds. So I gave him one of my books called Chronicles and Memoirs of a Gangster, and I let him get my program. And I said, brother, use the program as you choose. He asked me to be the executive director at his program, Hyped at the time. I started finding it kind of odd that he kept sending me and his cousin, Jesse Taylor, that's the brother that's on the video, to different locations when he spoke. And one time I popped up at the school and he was using my speeches verbatim. And, I just got out the penitentiary after doing 12 and a half years. I was already kind of confused at the state of what was going on in the neighborhoods. So rather than, and I'm not a violent man, you know what I'm saying? But rather than break his jaw, I just went ahead and separated from him and said, man, I'm gonna let you go, because he wasn't rapped like that. And his story never made sense to me, because when he told me what he went to jail for, his claim is that him and 4 other individuals was robbing somebody for a starter jacket, which I never understood, because what is 5 people gonna do with one starter jacket? Y'all gonna share it one. But he made it seem as if he murdered the dude, and what actually happened was they were robbing somebody from a starter jacket at a store. A security guard came to intervene, and one of the other dudes shot him on accident. And Charleston has convinced the whole world that he murdered somebody and went to jail, and he was one of the first teenagers that was convicted of murder or tried as an adult, and that's absolutely not the truth. And then he professes that he's a part of Rolling 60s, and down here, one of the things that we have a sincere bond, a long time a bond with the homies out of LA. The thing is that you have to have a lineage check. You know what I'm saying? If somebody put you down, who put you down? And then if that person got put down, we need to know who put him down. And so we know, because I know the homies that brought 60s down here, Charles Burke and Chuck. And don't nobody know the dude, you know what I'm saying? And so, I don't even care about his platform. I like to see any man successful. My thing is that you're utilizing your platform while we in a burning house right now. Our communities are devastated, divided. We got violence at the all-time high in our communities. We got COVID going on out of everywhere, especially with us as African-American people and Latino people. And here you are talking about, F Nipsey and F the Crips and F the Bloods and F Malcolm and F Dr. King and all this stuff. I mean, to me, the tactics are similar to what we see in COINTELPRO. Somebody who's put off inside our communities to create division, because why would you be doing that when we trying to stop people and stop children from dying in the streets? Here we are out here on the front line, actually trying to intervene, doing real conflict resolution, doing real violence de-escalation, and you parading around with law officials talking about you training them and talking about, all this nonsense, but you talking about nigger babies and knocking the very people that are suffering from the condition. We didn't get in these conditions overnight. It took 400 years of oppression to put our people in these conditions. And so if you don't have any compassion, no understanding for the very people that you say you represent, we don't need you in our communities creating division and creating hostility when we trying to put out fires and trying to save our people.
So let me put this in perspective for those who don't understand anything about what I'm saying. What he is letting you guys know is the story that he sells you about killing some dude because he super pro-black and killed the white dude and blah, blah, blah. False. Charleston White is not from Rolling 60s at all. And what he said about calling, and I'm going to speak on this personally because it happened to me in Atlanta at a hood day where they had to call back to LA. It was like, oh yeah, that's Seti Nash. So if that happens to me, that's going to happen to anybody when you claim this shit and when it expands. It expanded out to Fort Worth, Texas. It extended to Texas in general because Texas has always been our big cousins. Always.
Right.
We come from Louisiana. We come from Alabama and Texas and everything.
Right.
California is a migrant-ass state. It's one of the last states to ever be admitted into the United States.
Right.
So please understand, when we talk about this, it's not to hate. It's not to share and spread bullshit. It's not to turn around and say, hey, we're out here anti whatever, because if Charleston White was on a peaceful mission, none of this shit would come out, because what he's in representation of, it would be stupid as hell to say, screw him, I want all the fame.
Right. No. Yeah, this is definitely not about none of that at all, man. You know, because, you know, I applaud anybody. If the universe blesses you with a platform of that magnitude and you about your people, why would you not be trying to pull your people up? And if you had any real ties and connections to this, you have to understand, especially in California, you're talking about brothers who are 4 or 5 generations, grandfathers and uncles and entire families have been about this. If you truthfully had any understanding, any love for what you were talking about, you came from, you would be trying to pull people up. You wouldn't be trying to knock people down. And because he's never been in it, he really has no understanding that we're not talking about, first of all, we're not talking about gangs. We're talking about tribes. We're talking about the very nature of us and our people is tribalism. And so why would we destroy something when half of the job is already gone? We're already unified. It's just changing the direction of the leadership. And we don't want individuals to go down the path that we went down. So we utilize our experiences to tell other individuals, hey, it's a better way.
So let me do it this way, okay? And I'm gonna bring OG Melly Mel on here. OG Melly Mel, can you introduce to the people who you are so they can understand the historical context of this Southern California, this South Central, this Compton stuff that we got going on? I'm gonna try not to cuss, but just to understand for those who don't understand, because if it wasn't for you, a lot of this stuff wouldn't even be happening. Yeah. So please explain to these individuals who you are.
Okay, for those who don't know me, I'm Professor Melly Mel, the Hood Postman, and the Hood Postman is about delivery, and delivery is often carries. You got to go seek out the sources, the information, and bring it to the people. And when I bring it to the people, I reach out to individuals such as Seti Nash, such as Heru, such as Braddock, such as Abdul, and I feel like it's just it's my passion, you know, to bring all my brothers to the table and let's discuss these things, because we can't have one individual speaking for us when that individual is speaking from a cesspool. When I say cesspool, he's focused on 4 words, and you guys know what those words: the F word, the H word, the B word, and the N word. Those 4 words pop up more in his conversation than any other words. So when you using that type of tonality, this type of phraseology, you cannot possibly be reaching the people that you need to reach. Although you may get some people that go along, it's just like even people go along with Donald Trump when he's speaking. We all know it sounds foolish, and it is foolish, but yet those people somehow believe in that man's mission, as they do with the brother CW. CW, just the information I got, and I'm gonna elaborate a little bit on what the brother was saying. When he did catch the case, his parent put up $250,000 to fight on his behalf. So he never had to enter the system that the other brother, or endure the pain that they had to do based on the crime that was committed. Secondly, he's really never been good at anything. The other cat named Insane took the supposedly a wife that he had and pimped her out. Thirdly, he's never been successful in the drug trade. So fourthly, he's really just never been successful at anything besides delegating his own people, finding a way to just talk about his own people in a way that is not compromised. I mean, that is not giving you compliment. He don't speak with passion. He doesn't even seem like he's really attached. His spirit is like outside of the melanated people that's around him. And people, if they pay attention, they can see that. You know what I mean? But he just, I don't know, man. I don't know how to describe this brother. You know what I mean? Because I try to watch him and try to figure out what his moves are and how he's moving and see. Okay, he make a point or two, but still, you cannot justify that point or two based on all the foul language that this man used. And I'm gonna leave it right there, and I'm gonna let you brothers go ahead and pass the mic. And so they say.
I want to interject. This is what I said, and the person doesn't understand this. We need 100 Charleston whites in every city for a reason, because it induces this type of conversation. All right. And when it induces this type of conversation, it lets us know what we don't need when you get conscious brothers speaking and brothers who've been in the trenches. Because to me, it initiated with the minister Malcolm X when he took drug addicts, prostitutes, incarcerated brothers, thieves, and everything else that comes with it, and said, look, brother, I'm gonna teach you economics. I'm gonna show you how you can turn things around. So when you have a dude such as him that's steadily degrading us, as opposed to saying, okay, uplifting us. Now, I do applaud whatever program he was abandoned on, but he initiated in his own way and in his own mind to save youth. I applaud that. But you negate everything when you start tearing down brothers who are the true warriors of the community. And brothers are the true warriors of the community. Brothers have been in the trenches because what's instilled in you when you run in those streets. Now, when you transform it into, like, I don't have to take no BS from nobody. Meaning, if I'm doing what's right, right is right. And right, you can always stand on right. So it wasn't a mission of ours to go down there to assault this man, to verbally assault him, anything of that nature. I simply went down to circumvent a hypothetical, man, that I keep using. If you take a 14-year-old boy from Texas who goes...
I hate he got into it. I hate that he got into it, and and that just do. Haru, go ahead and unmute yourself and come on in, bro. He gonna rejoin us, but
what you say, Sadie?
I said go ahead and share your spill real quick for us.
Okay. Well, my name is Dwayne Hendricks. I go by Brother Haru. The guys who knew me in the streets in Atlanta, they know me as Bread, and I am also an author, a published author. I just finished my 4th book, an activist. And to show everybody how divine this whole situation ended up being and how Brother Abdul said the universe is at work, me and Brady just went on a humbug to the bookstore that I used to lecture at in Fort Worth, Texas. Now, I lived in Fort Worth, Texas from 2014 to 2018. And during that time, me and Brother Abdul crossed paths. But we didn't keep in touch with one another or none of that, because that's one of the narratives that Rat Williams is out there sharing, that me and Brother Abdul homies and we've been knowing each other for a long time. So that's completely and totally false. Me and this brother met one time, maybe twice, at events that were taking place at the bookstore that we both used to go to and do community work at. So myself and Brother Brady, we went to actually talk to the sister that owns the bookstore about some business opportunities that we got going on that we wanted to include her in. And she was up for it. And then we started explaining to her everything about United Streets of America. And she said, you should call Brother Abdul. So that's how we ended up crossing paths with Brother Abdul. I had no idea that this brother was the one that had already did all of this community work. I had no idea that this brother was involved with any type of gangs or anything in Fort Worth, because when we met each other, that wasn't the time that we was on. We both met each other on the fact that we were published authors. So let's get that established. Secondly, like Brother Brady said, we didn't go out there to do any harm to Charleston White. We didn't go out there to do anything but to try to stop a situation that could have potentially happened had the wrong things continuously been said and the wrong message continually be perpetrated that potentially some kid could have got hurt in Texas from California, or some kid could have got hurt in California from Texas. And it's always the innocent people that end up being hurt by the actions of fools like Charleston White. So this is the only reason that United Streets of America even got involved in this situation. And to be perfectly honest with everyone, when Bridie first came home, I actually shared some of Charleston's information with him that he had out on the internet, because he was actually seeming as if he was talking against violence and everything else, you know. So I want all that to be clear, and I want all that to be set, the record to be set straight on that, because he's now out there lying, saying that Raymond Washington's daughter Ray was the one who gave us the information to be able to come to this event, and we was coming to assassinate him. He's saying all these things.
Can you brothers hear me?
Completely and totally
Yeah.
false. Yeah, you back. We hear you, bro.
Go ahead, bro.
You there? Go ahead, bro.
You good?
Yeah. So I'm gonna let Bridie talk again, but I want everybody to know that when he went out there and he went and got with this dude that's claiming to be this OG and everything else from the West Coast and did that video a few days ago, everything that he said in that video is a lie. We was not there for a book signing. We did not have no type of situation with Raymond Washington's daughter or Mob Jane. Any of the stuff that he said is all lies. And we're going to make sure that we paint the right narrative and we get the right information out, But I want all of that to be stated for the record, because we had no intentions of bumping into this dude, Brother Abdul, It just ended up being divine intervention on how all this came together. So, I don't want to say nothing else unless it's a specific question that I need to answer.
I'm gonna bring you in. I'm gonna do it the right way. I'm gonna have it set up the right way. Let's go to Brother Bridie real quick, and we'll get to our brother Abdul again, and then Mel. I got a poignant ass question for you, because matter of fact, let me do it this way. There was this weird story that Charleston said he knew Raymond Washington. Now, the fact that you specifically can break down the origin of the Crips, you can literally write the book on how the Crips started and damn near prophesize the end or the evolution of the Crips. Can I ask you this simple question? How feasible is it that this man knew Raymond Washington? And for those who don't know who Raymond Washington is, Raymond Washington is the founder of the Crips. Oh, did I just kick him out?
What's going on now?
Oh, hold on. Sorry, my fault. All right, repeat that, please.
Correct. See, first you got to understand, if you look at the chronological time, if Charleston White, mute your mic, buddy. If Charleston White was born in the year of 1977, which is the year I graduated, 2 years from there, Raymond Washington lost his life in 1979. So at that time, Charleston White was 2 years old. So how could Charleston White ever know Raymond Lee Washington at 2 years old? 2 years old, you barely even know how to say Gaga. So let's eliminate that. That dispels that rumor right there. There's a lot of rumors and a lot of information, fake information that Charleston White seems to put out there and try to associate himself and attach himself to certain circumstances. But no, Charleston White was not. No, he couldn't have possibly known Raymond Lee Washington.
So let's understand this again. It would be next to impossible. Now, I don't know any 2-year-old that's running bus against and doing all this crazy stuff that one may say that they is doing, but I find it highly improbable that happened.
Highly improbable.
Brother Bradley, go ahead, sir. Can you hear me?
Right up. I don't know if he can hear you or not.
Okay.
He must. Right out. Can you hear us?
Okay, let's go to Brother Abdul. So,
Yes, sir.
what was the manuscript basically that you were giving us, or giving them in particular? Like, what was it that he was saying specifically that you were saying that you weren't privy to before you had the opportunity to go to these meetings?
So if you see his interview, and I don't even watch the brother. I just happened to be looking at something the other day, and you can go back and look at my speeches on my YouTube page when I'm talking to all the kids and all the high schools and stuff. And there's something that a phrase that I had coined, and it's actually in my book. And the book was published in 2012, right?
Right.
And so, and I met him in 2015, 16. So on Vlad TV, he says this comment about he who controls images controls minds, and he who controls minds is where little or less about how big you are, how much money you got. Because if I can control your perception of yourself, I can control your destiny before you know your destiny yourself. It's something that I had written in a book in 2012. I gave the brother programs so that he could utilize, but he took the programs and gave to some brother in Houston, and they came up with their gang program, which is just an emulation of what my program is. The thing is here is that, when you on the front line and you really are actually out here, it's dangerous when you're trying to intervene with young people out here who own drugs, who feel hopeless, who have lost their inspiration and things of such. And when you out here trying to stop violence, and you got somebody who's plagiarizing people, utilizing, other individuals' information for his own black exploitative reasons, because you got to understand that there's no way possible. I wouldn't want none of my children having a mentor who sexually, pulls his genitals out on television in front of people, who talks about people and calls black children nigger babies. And I mean, come on, how can you be talking about pimping and hoeing and things that are such, but call yourself to be some type of mentor to children? Children are not stupid. These kids on these streets are not no dumb children. And so it's just like, you can't be selling dope at nighttime and trying to be a positive individual in the daytime. Them kids ain't going for no nonsense. And so my whole thing with them is that you're counterproductive to what it is that we're trying to teach our children as a whole. Now, if you're trying to teach your children that they can sell their souls and they can benefit from selling their souls, and that you can get around and like the things he just put on the video the other day, the brother just called me, he's talking bad about my children, calling my daughters all kind of dogs, and saying you and that brother is on parole violation. I'm finna call your parole officer. Y'all niggas is gang members, and y'all on federal, and I'm finna make sure you get locked up, nigga. And I mean, come on, bro. Anybody who is supposed to be intelligent, who's supposed to be an advocate toward any type of change in our community that supports nonsense like that, those individuals, we don't need your support either. Because this is a serious task that we're talking about when we talk about the cumulative effect of things that took over 400 years to get us in this condition in the first place. It takes all hands on deck from all spectrums to change the trajectory of where we are going as a people. And so this is not a serious conversation. That it's entertainment for him, and because he's profiting from it, he doesn't care about the expenses or the lives that are being lost, or individuals that are being caught up in the mix of the problem. I mean, and let me just say this last thing. And do you know, I mean, brothers that's been in prison, you know this. What he's doing is even creating problems in the penitentiaries. Because what it does is it pits California against Texas in the penitentiaries, or Texas against California, because it seemed that so many individuals in my neighborhood, in my city, were quiet about allowing this individual, oh, that's just entertainment. Oh, he just saying, no, brother. I ain't telling you to pick no sides, but if you're a righteous individual, if you have any type of moral balance, you don't have to be religious to know right from wrong. And it's just wrong. It's just, I mean, it's just dead wrong. You know what I'm saying? So nobody asked, nobody at any point in time, I didn't come out bashing. I said, bro, I just wanted to set some facts straight. Number one, you've never really been affiliated with the tribes because you don't have any concern about the people. Number two, your claim to fame as far as being a murderer is an absolute fabricated lie. You didn't shoot that man. You just happened to be there. The next thing is everything that you speak on, bro. If you just look at, I'm gonna find these other videos. If you just look at how the brother was talking before he met me, he wasn't even talking about gangs then. The only thing he was working for, he was trying to work his angle on advocating for children that were incarcerated, which I understand, and I commended him on that. But when you seen that I was going through some legal issues, and then he starts talking about my drug problem, listen, bro, I am not ashamed of anything that I've been through. And like I told him, you can come take my piss to my PO for me every day if you want to. I'm in my best life right now. I'm not tripping about none of that. You can't shame me for anything that I've been through. But the point is that if we are talking about coming together to do something that's going to bring some substantial change in our communities, we need reasonable-minded men, especially those who have been through something, that can reach out and connect to the children that we're trying to reach that are going through the very thing that we're talking about that the problem is. And he can't identify that because he's never been through those type of problems before.
Excuse me. Brother Broderick, go ahead.
You know, I was having technical difficulties.
Can I say?
But
Haru, that's it. Haru, that's it. That's it, bro. That's it, bro. Hold on. So I want for those who don't understand, let's understand who you are and why you're here specifically. I think that's gonna set them up nicely so they can really understand what's going on here.
Would you like me to expound?
You still talking to me?
Yes, sir. You, not you, brother Abdul.
Okay.
Big homie.
Yo, we United Streets of America, man. We were formed, man, specifically to reach all urban communities, to show a different way to young brothers, to show them that, hey, man, you don't have to be on the block making anywhere from $500 to $2,000 a week and taking a penitentiary chance when you can go the blueprint of Nipsey. You can go to coding school, man. You can start off making $100,000 a year in Silicon Valley and any other valley in the United States. Hey, man, you can go get your CDLs, man, so on and so on. So the United Streets of America is not only that, but it's to control our narrative as opposed to having someone else control our narrative. On a consistent basis, that's what's been destroying us, having someone else control our narrative. And there's so much more to United Streets of America, you know, and it's just unfortunately that we have to deal with buffoonery, but we're going to accomplish that's, you know, that's not going to be the vital focus point of our topic of conversations, you know. Yet with United Streets of America, it's men such as myself, it's men such as Heru, who's in the streets of Dallas and who's in the streets of Georgia and so forth, and men such as yourself, Seti, and men such as Melly Mel, who have similar backgrounds in Abdul, where we could say to a juvenile, hey, man, that's a rerun to us, but we can understand what you're going through. But here's a better way of life. That's the core purpose of the United Streets of America. Is not to sit up here and pit this dude against this dude, to argue on social media, to do anything of that nature, because it would defeat our purpose. That's not our purpose, you know. So that's it in a nutshell, you know, and maybe Heru or Melly Mel can expound deeper on it, but that's what it is in a nutshell.
Let's let them understand where you from.
I'm from Compton, born and raised. You know, I'm from Carver Park, Compton, Crip. And the reason I say that, not for glorification, but as just, you know, because we are tribes and we each have our own individuality as a tribe. But one thing for sure, a tribe would come together like a fist when somebody assaults our culture. You know, so, and that's so me, you know, like one of my tightest partners is Tiny Tank from Biddy Stone, as they say, but I say City Stones. You know, I've nothing but accolades and applause for T. Rogers of the Stones and everything that he does for the community. You know, so it's not a matter of I'm a Crip and you a Blood. It's like-minded thinking, melanated men nationwide. Yet you must start in your own backyard before you can expound anywhere. But when you meet like-minded men who are doing the same thing in their backyards, which is save generation now from living as we lived, then, you know, 80% of your job is done. So that's where I'm from, but that's what I'm about. You know, I've been through the trenches. I got the whole reputation of senseless street legacy. I've been shot 8 times, stabbed 3 times, then lost more fights than I did won. Did a gang of prison time, never made a statement. At Freedom of Information Act says everything about me, put in work and all the sickness of that world. Been there, done that. It's a rerun to me. Top shooter from my neighborhood for decades and things of that nature. Just the stupidity. You know, when a dude says, well, don't nobody know him. Well, you know, I'm like the director. All the movie stars know me. I'm behind the scene man, you know, when it came to that world. Everybody that was a hitter, everybody that was about their business in that street life where I'm from, know me. And they applaud my transformation. You know, and ain't nobody gonna step to me.
I know I can get what I'm looking for, because any man that doesn't say that to himself is a fool. But ain't nobody gonna step to me, not when I'm doing right.
So y'all understand this? This is real Compton. This ain't no BS, no none of that. This is real Fort Worth. We not on no BS. I'm not trying to convince y'all or nothing, but these are pillars. I ain't shit. These are the pillars. Forget anything that's going on with the setting next. These are the pillars. This is the message that y'all need to get to. This is stuff that y'all need to learn. For all you musicians who on there, y'all can check out that Cocaine interview, and he giving y'all the game in the gyms. But right now, what we got to make sure that we do is give the absolute truth. I'm biased or anything like that. Brother Abdul told y'all about his vice to the past so that he don't seem perfect, because none of us are. Nobody gonna be perfect that's on this panel. I never want to interview somebody like that, because then I don't believe you.
Right.
So this right here is an OG call to me to say, little homie, we need to go ahead and do what we need to do, because we got to stop some bullshit. OG Melly Mel, what was the purpose of making sure we got this message out there?
The purpose was, man, that we gotta at least try to get people to fully understand the significance of what Charleston White is doing. See, because I'm still trying to get my head around what kind of people send their kids to somebody that call their children nigger babies. First and foremost, I don't understand that point. You know what I mean? Me being my first name Compton, my last name Crip, I come from that graveyard understanding, that tombstone mindset. At one time, that was my disposition. But then later on, I found myself, and I put myself in a greater understanding to understand that it was the importance of my melanated people, how I need to help bridge those gaps and make those correlations work. You know what I mean? Because all it is building rapport. Once you build rapport, you come in a total of responsiveness where we responsive to one another. We mirror and match each other on the positive side. All spaces are filled, either positive or negative. It's up to you to pick what space you're in. Obviously, he's picking negative. 16, 19. There has always been a Charleston White. If we could bring back the brother Nat Turner, he would tell you so. Gabriel Prosser, he would tell you so. All these brothers are Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all the way down to Huey Newton and Fred Hampton. All these brothers would tell you the same. Because you watch the movie The Black Messiah. That's Charleston White. He is an agent. He is an agent provocateur. He is the vehicle, Europeanism, of the psychophilosophical vehicle or spiritual and intellectual enslavement of melanated people. He will continue that path. That is his sole mission. He has taken that upon himself. So if that's where his position is, then so be it. But we cannot condone that confusion to be spilled over to our people. We cannot allow that. So therefore, we must directly address this issue. We can't be, just because you live in Fort Worth, Texas, you cannot be silent on that. If you live in Compton, you cannot be silent on it. You live in Chicago, you cannot be silent on it. You live in Sacramento, Chicago, New York, wherever you may be, melanated people, you cannot be silent on the tonality and the phraseology that which this man speaks from. It is not good. It is not common amongst us. We are tribal people. We sit down and men as men, we're not emotion. We don't react on emotion. We are logical and rational. So that's why we're here today at this table. We got 5 individuals in this chat, and we're talking about it. Actually, did I miss somebody? No, 5. Okay. So that's why we're here today, Seti Nash. And it's important that we do it on your the Seti Nash edition, because you have a broader reach. So therefore, we need to reach as many ears as we can, and then if that's not enough, then we'll take it to the next label. But we got to keep pushing this. We got to drown this dude out, and send him back to his little corner where he's been for the last, this dude has been around, maybe a year with all this reckless talking? Where was he at prior to that? Who was he then? Let's get him back to that space and then maybe we can deal with him a lot better. Because for the last past year or so, he's been a Donald Trump agent. He's part of the Trump apocalypse. In other words, they're taking a page from Donald Trump's book, and they saw what Donald Trump said. Even if he shot somebody on Fifth Avenue, his followers would still believe in him. Why are they under this hypnotic state of mind? I do not know. I don't know how you let somebody take you under that, put you in the spell of that detriment, of that level, and you not take one moment to step back and say, wait a minute, let me question some of this stuff this man is saying.
Brother Haru, let us understand exactly how you're deciding to fight back against the shit that we have already against us, because I think that's massively important for the people to know.
Right. So mainly, you know, when I and I want to clarify something, because I want everybody to know, because I know the cornball will come back and try to say something to attack. I wasn't in the streets no more when I moved to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I was all the way removed, super duper square bear by that time once I started having children. So, you know, my oldest daughter made me make the transformation to get up out the streets, you know. But what's most important for our people to understand what has to happen is that, and I always tell people this, is what we want is what we need, but it's what has to happen that always has to take priority over that, right? And what has to happen and what we must begin to identify with is that, for instance, one of the people that OG Bride D first schooling me on that I had no idea about in history was Julio Butler. And Julio Butler was an informant that helped destroy the Black Panther Party, you know. And just as the brother Abdul said earlier, everything that Buddy is doing is some COINTELPRO type stuff for a reason. And what we must identify with is the fact that we could never do anything to someone outside of our house if we're not cleaning up our own house, you know. And the most important thing that we have to realize is that we have to begin the proper education. We have to understand that they put these people amongst us for a reason. You know, they making films about stuff like Judas and the Black Messiah now. So it's no excuse for people to continuously turn a blind eye to these situations and not understand the detriment of someone that is amongst us, that speaks the same lingo, that wears the same clothes, listens to the same music, but from the very beginning, they've been set amongst us to bring destruction to us, you know. And if we could, I really like for Brother Abdul to go into the connections to the Republican Party, because I think that's important for people to understand how these people get funded and how they get placed out there, you know, and how they become these trending topics.
So before you answer that, Brother Abdul, I want to get this done real quick, and then please answer the Republican Party part of this. But let me unmute you real quick. What are you got to hit the mute off. What is it currently that you're working on? Because there's people who are going to ask, okay, well, y'all saying blah, 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 blank about Charleston White. Well, he has this solution. What are y'all working on? So please let them know what you're working on and how they can help. I'm going to lend my hand to help. I'm going to make my trip back out there to Fort Worth. But please let them know what you're working on currently right now.
So right now, we COVID is like through the roof in Tarrant County right now. But what we had just started was in the last 6 months before school. 6 weeks before school, I brought a coalition of different groups together to teach some classes, to provide some resources for the kids to have something to do. Well, Build a Better Hood, we have a construction base where we want to teach the kids construction. Our KOTF network, Urban Fire Binge radio, we teach the kids telecommunications, how to produce, how to film, You know, I'm a published author. I've written 9 books. I got 6 books on Amazon before I even came out of prison. So we teach the brothers how to read, how to write and publish their own books. After school art literature classes. The whole thing is that if we don't give, you know, most of the children, and just recently I just took 3 homeless teenagers and took guardianship of them because they didn't have any place to stay. And so we have a lot of homeless children out here. And this is why I had an argument with a lot of the people who scream Black Lives Matter, because I'm showing these teenagers on Facebook and couldn't get any contributions for any of the people to help these kids get a house, a place to stay. The kids want to go to school. The kids don't want to be on the streets. There's a whole host of things that we're doing out in our communities daily. I've never stopped. I haven't banged since the 90s. You know, so for him to try to take this situation and turn it into a gang issue is absolutely nonsense. And you know, the thing is, if you were to go online onto my YouTube page, you know, I've spoken at every school, high school. We spoke to thousands of kids, lectured at TCU, UTA, TCC, in the criminal justice department. We've been trying to actually get people to understand that people in impoverished conditions, they're not trying to, people don't want to sell dope and don't want to be out in the streets robbing and pillaging. But when you don't have a reasonable pathway out of poverty, if your lights go out and there's no food in the house, you don't care at that point in time about Christian, Muslim, Jew. You don't care about no morals or no principles. You're going to do whatever it is to do to get back there and get the lights on and get your kids something to eat. But if we're providing something for these kids, because most of these children, you know, I mean, I have to be, you know, honest about myself. I spent over 22 years of my life incarcerated. I was a deadbeat dad. It don't make no difference how much I was hugging the block. I thought I was doing something to bring monetary gain for my families, but I was losing time with my children as a result of hugging the block and going after the money for the wrong way. So we want individuals to see, look, man, there's consequences to these, like the brother just said, like the OG just said a minute ago. You know, you out here chunking rocks at the penitentiaries behind pennies. The money that you accumulate, and this is all based on images. You know, the industry. And it's sad that, you know, that I'm saying this, man, but a picture just surfaced of a brother a minute ago that I had shared earlier with him holding up a Homeland Security vest. And you know, he jumped up on the site talking about, yeah, you niggas jealous of me because I train Homeland Security and things. I mean, brother, you are telling us that you are sending people in our communities, and with whatever information that you feel like you are accumulating amongst Black people, you're going back and telling them what to go look for so that they can come target us. And we're not the people that need to be targeted in the first place. We're the victims in the situation of 400 years of oppression. If you're going to come and train somebody, why don't you come train them children? Instead of coming back and passing out a few dollars to them children, you know, after master passes you some change and you can go parade to the kids and chuck them $50 to go get some shoes that you get donated and give them some Jordans. We don't need to get them kids no Jordans. Them kids need some education. Them kids need something that they can aspire to so they can go buy their own damn Jordans. And, you know, and the connection of what the brother was talking about with the Republican Party, you know, the brothers are Black Republicans. You know, they tried to pull me in that mess when I first met them. You know, trying to explain to me that, you know, really, to be truthful, brother, the Republicans is the ones who freed the slaves. Them the ones, brother, are you serious? For people who do not understand, Lincoln didn't free us for no humanitarian purposes. Lincoln freed us because the Union, when the Union was split, they had a vote. And if the votes would have swung in the other direction, we would have still been slaves. So, you know, for him to,
no,
you know, for him to make this.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, anybody who believe that, like, yeah, God, go ahead, please. I'm sorry.
And it's just, you know, they paid him, and it's just like, you know, people say, well, brother, you can't stay in and out of prison. Anybody who knows, anybody who has studied the COINTELPRO, anybody who understands the FBI's dirty tricks, anytime you have someone that you believe that can unify our people, they are going to use the media, dirty tactics, in any form of fashion to try to keep people who they see as a threat from keeping our people. So it ain't no coincidence that they keep trying to lock a brother up. I mean, I got sent back to prison for a dirty UA, man. It's people that I knew that had 9, 10 dirty UAs that they sent all kind of claims. They sent me back to prison for a dirty UA. After we had opened up 3 community centers, after we had lectured to thousands of kids, I had walked on water and split the Red Sea. It's the same thing that happened to me when we did the gang truce. My cases Because back in those days, I pushed to go to jury trial because I'm a jury trial type dude. You know, you're going to have to put 12 in the box and prove something with me. I'm not going to just go take no plea to no time, and especially not something I didn't do. But we brought a gang truce that reduced crime in the city of Fort Worth over 48%. And they gave me a violation.
Wait. That's not no itty bitty. Hold on.
48%.
Time out. So damn near half crime stopped because of a truce. So if this man ain't power, then what is? Y'all gotta understand something. This ain't no smear tactic. This ain't to say none of that shit. If we don't have structures that's set up, how the fuck we gonna win?
Right.
True.
How? Somebody gotta explain that to me. I'm not the most intelligent person here. I'm on the small totem pole, but what I'm trying to ask for all those who in the comments talking shit, let's understand, half the crime? If that ain't a miracle, I don't know what is.
10% of anything can ruin 90% of everything.
And you know, it's funny, and Heru can attest to this because he heard this. That dude had someone call me and ask me if I was cool on paper, talking about probation or parole. But what the man doesn't know is I cross all my T's and dot all my I's. I had permission 2 weeks prior to traveling to Texas, permission from my probation agent. And I told my probation agent I was going to Texas to be on a podcast, in which I was on another podcast, and to launch and to speak on what's going on in our community. But the man that person questioned me. I'm quite sure it's recorded on my status with my probation agent. Where does that come from?
So you were there in that room, correct?
The person that asked Brad about whether or not he was still on federal papers was actually talking to me on the phone first, and that's what was so crazy about it. He was talking to me on the phone, and when Bridal called and clicked in, he completely and totally changed the whole direction in his conversation. He was trying to get information out of me, and I was basically just only going to talk about United Streets of America and the positivity that we trying to do. So when Brady got on the phone, that's when the whole subject of Raymond Washington's daughter came to us, which everything Charleston said about that is a lie. But then not only did that happen, but then he asked Brad Dog straight up, "Are you still on paper?" And that's the same thing that Charleston did to brother Abdul before. Said that he was going to get him locked up because he knew he was still on federal paperwork.
Let's do this real quick. I think it's important that we run this clip real quick about the 1994 Dallas-Fort Worth peace treaty. Y'all stay here. Watch this video real quick.
People is getting killed. They come in handcuffs and chains. Gang members tired of bloodshed on the streets.
It's about the kids and our elders now. You know, we got our elders in the house scared to come outside. They fought so hard and died so us just to have education. You know, we didn't respect it. We didn't understand it at one point in time. We understand that now.
The writing is on the wall. For the past few years, gang members have claimed territories throughout Fort Worth.
And we're trying to change all that. We try to make it where, you know, it won't be like that, where people won't think, well, you can't come to my neighborhood. You can't come over here.
What did it take for this to finally get in your heart?
When my little kids couldn't go outside and play no more. That's what it took. It didn't take for me to get locked up, and I ain't finna get out no time soon.
The truce is not an overnight miracle. Abdul Chappell says he wanted peace for some time, but the pressure on the street was too much.
There was an animosity there where I couldn't go to Stop 6 and try to talk to them about no truce at one point in time. So it took coming to jail and meeting them as individuals in jail to talk to them about this.
We got some out there that don't want to be down, but we ain't worried about them not want to be down. You know, if we can change 15 of them, that's cool.
Gang members say they have no deal with police. They're not looking for a quick way out of jail and will stay in their gangs. 4 are getting out soon.
We ain't doing it for no package, and we ain't doing it for no jobs. We not doing it for that. You know what I'm saying? We doing it to stop this violence.
And why should police believe convicted gang members are serious about stopping the violence? Right now, police are in a zero-tolerance mode.
If you want to gangbang, you got to deal with us. I mean, we're not going to slow down, and that's evident in all our zero tolerance efforts. The only difference is that we're helping the gang members to use their minds instead of their hands.
And we were doing this before we got locked up.
These Crips and Bloods say critics and bad press will not destroy their mission for peace. They say many gang members on the streets want to put down their guns.
They for it. They with it. They gonna be down with it. If that's what we want, that's how we feel, and we serious and dedicated to this.
The seed is planted. Now they hope it will grow. Tamron Hall for the 9 o'clock news.
I ain't gonna lie. All this history right here, if y'all don't wake your asses up, something wrong with y'all. Something wrong with y'all. These ain't nothing that I put together and said, I'm gonna make this up. I'm not that skilled nor crafty. So please know that what I'm doing for y'all is a nice chronological order to show y'all this transition. Because right now what's happening to Brother Abdul is a smear campaign. Y'all got to understand what a fight really look like. It ain't just a boxer in there. You got the trainers, you got the judges. Hell, you even got the referee. And when we can even the playing field, the real gonna prevail every single time. Every single time. I'm not doing this shit to get rid of Charleston White and everything like that and all that because I got hatred for the man. The problem is the truth. The truth is supposed to set us all free, but it ain't. Because what's happening is entertainment is being sold as business instead of bullshit. And that be the issue with a lot of y'all who don't understand. When we talked about Lil Nas X, I told y'all, look, BET is black targeted, not black owned. I said, y'all want to fight BET? Hit their sponsors. BET added 30 more minutes on today's show. Please know that. This ain't no shit that I made up. Brother Abdul, I want to, first off, give you one of these again, honestly, because you did that shit safe in a damn cell. You didn't even have to do that. And you were part of the beginning, the inception of the Crips coming to not even just Fort Worth, but it's in Texas as a whole. And that's a powerful damn burden that you put on your back. So I know this shit can't be easy. And you know, we all fall short, but shit, the fact that you back up on that horse and ready to ride again is commendable. And any troll that's in here that want to talk all that weird shit, perfectly fine. But bitch, you watching this. So keep on watching to get your lesson. You're going to get a verbal ass whooping with visuals included. Brother Brody, I want to ask you a question. When you were in Texas, what was the atmosphere like?
It was love, man. They tried to downplay and talk bad about a young brother named K-Dub. And I just simply asked the brother a question. And the brother said that dude doesn't speak for Texas. He doesn't speak for us. And he said it's basically BS. And the other brother who I talked to, Dewberry, you know, we didn't even really highlight that dude. He just said, you know, you can't believe everything that comes out of an actor's mouth. That's an act with him. And I said, okay, I'll take it as that, right? But we went on to speak about what he's doing for the children in the park, how he's coaching the football teams, how he's raising the money on his own without the strings of a nonprofit controlling him. When I was in Texas, I spoke to a brother named Uncle Jojo, who raised $30,000 from the community to have a children's camp, a day camp for the children, to show children other ways and show them different lifestyles. I spoke to a brother named Mike, who's giving his hard sweat, blood, and tears for the children. So these are things when I went to Texas. I went to Texas for a purpose with a Compton Made hat on. Shout out to Strike. Compton Made is a clothing line. But I went with a Compton Made hat for a purpose, to show everyone that I'm from Compton, California, and to show people in California that Texas brothers don't have no animosity towards us. And then to show Texas brothers that I'm out here by myself without an entourage. And whatever the creators may deem is going to happen to me is going to happen to me. So when I approached the brother in the street, yes, I saw a brother flamed up, and I asked him where he was from prior to putting him on camera. And I asked him, does he mind getting on camera? It doesn't matter what his stature is in his neighborhood. What mattered was that he was, as we would say here, an adversary to Crippin, yet he was a brother that understood that I came not chucking spears, I came just for to see how the felt. Because before I cut myself off with technical, I don't want that 14-year-old boy from Texas in the long jersey going Crenshaw cars to get murdered simply because here he's with that
OG, you gotta leave and come back. Your mic is acting a little funny style. So
Okay.
jump out and then jump back in. I'm gonna have you come back in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that might be you, Haru. That might be
For the
you, big
record,
homie.
City.
Yes, sir.
Is me?
Yeah, I think that's you.
Was it my mic?
Yeah. Hop out and come back in.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, but it's muffled, and I don't want them to miss what you about the gospel you about to preach. Yeah, that's his mic. But OG Melly Mel, mute yourself, please.
Okay.
First, I want to thank you for even allowing me to host this anyway. I know it's my platform and blah, 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 but you know, me, Costa, yo, Costa, you know, you welcome here anytime. I can leave. You know, I can leave. You can moderate this. You can do whatever it is and what you want to do. This is your house as well. And none of this.
We've been jiving ever since we met. You the only cat that told me, man, if you come to Sacramento, I got a bedroom for you, man. Don't even worry about where you're gonna stay. You staying with me. So that right there in itself, man, just it spoke volumes about your character and the man you are. You know what I mean? And I see, man, you doing the work, man. You doing the work on top of the work. And you like myself, we're in the trucks doing all this stuff, man. But at the same time, there's other work that needs to be done as well with our community. You know what I mean? Because our community is sick and it needs repair. It needs therapy. It needs substance. And you know what I mean? A lot of our people suffer from information malnutrition. You know what I mean? They're information poor. So if up to brothers like Abdul, up to brothers like Seti Nash, up to brothers like Haru and Bright Dog, and even other brothers that's outside of this circle at this moment, because we got to just bridge the gaps, man. Simple. I can't say that enough. We got to bridge the gaps, bring it to the forefront, and let's get it out on the table, man, and chop it up, talk about it, you know, and just enjoy ourselves, you know.
Can I have 18 seconds real quick? All I want to say is this. All I want to say is this, man. I was received very well in Texas. The average Joe Blow in the streets doesn't agree with what's said. There's no beef with California and Texas. The brothers in California, I'm speaking now for the brothers in California. We don't have no beef with nobody from Texas. I said everyone my age or better has Southern roots. So how the hell am I going to have any beef with? So I hate half of my mama family? Knock it off. I hate all the brothers I was in Beaumont Federal Prison with for 4 years who I met from the Lone Star State. No, sir. So it was no negativity directed towards me. I was solo bolo. I'm still here intact. I flew out there with a mission just to show the West Coast that was rhetoric from one person's mouth who doesn't represent the whole state of Texas. That's all I have to say, man. Love them brothers from the Lone Star State. Golden State ain't got nothing but respect and love for y'all.
Oh, yeah. Should we share their culture? They share ours.
Thank you kindly. And with what I'm saying, I'm not into that lifestyle. But he said, where you think all that kush come from? You think we gonna burn our bridges with y'all? For the cats didn't know what that mean. I don't know what it mean. I'm a square.
Me neither. Yeah.
Gotta get an amen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, man.
But let's bring you back in real quick. I think this is really important for you to speak on. Why is it that why was it important for them to make sure that it wasn't no shortcuts on their sentencing to be a part of this truce?
Are you speaking in reference to
the 94 truce? The 94 truce. Dude said, you know, we're not getting our sentencing cut off at all.
Oh yeah. No, we actually let me tell you something. Okay, so I had some bogus charges put on me. I was arrested on December 16, 1992 for protesting. The next day after I had protested about police brutality, and I'll send that newspaper clipping to you. The next day we were supposed to protest again, and I was surrounded by 4 police officers in White Settlement in another county and charged with all kind of bogus charges. The next day we were supposed to protest. The protest is what inspired me when I started writing these essays with a partner named Saif, Youngster Young, and bailiffs, black bailiffs, read some of my material and started making copies and floating it through the jail. And that's what initiated the brothers to get sit down and have a truce. They brought up a bunch of Bloods to the old side, a bunch of Crips to the old side, and we sat down and had a conversation. That's what initiated the truce. But let me say this. The charges obviously were dropped because they was bogus in the first place. There was never any charges. I pushed to go to jury trial. They didn't want to go to jury trial. So the charges got dismissed, but they kept me on a technical violation. Now, when we did the truce, which reduced crime 48%, when we did the truce, they sent me back on a violation. And in 93 to 94, you can check the records. On a violation back then, you only did 90 days. I did 4.5 years on a technical violation. They kept me in prison for 4.5 years, man, after we just called a truce that reduced crime over 48% in the city. At the time, I was 19 years old. I didn't understand the connection between it because there's profit in poverty. There's profit in gang banging. There's profit in people who have investments in private prisons. And so the gang task force was getting $25, $30 an hour. And that ain't with overtime because of the zero tolerance. So if there's no gang banging, because down here there was officers dressing up like Crips and Bloods, assaulting other individuals in different neighborhoods. And so of course they had to keep me in prison. Of course they had to remove a brother from the street. It's nothing new. It's something that's been happening to us and our people since the injection of the counterintelligence program that brought Huey and his other brothers down. But you know, sometimes even in the scriptures, it said that they threw Abraham in the fire when he was young, right? And the fire became cool for him. So sometimes when they put you off inside an adverse situation, it might become something that becomes a blessing to you, because what was given birth out of that was the Mass Gorilla family, which when we came home with Gorilla Records, we had the first independent record label that was full of Crips and Bloods. And my headquarters was in the Bloody Six, in Stop Six. So how is a Crip dude from the West Side gonna have his headquarters for his record label in the Bloody Six of Stop Six without having the type of respect and honor from them dudes from Stop Six? Because they knew me from the streets. Them dudes knew I was about trying to bring economic stability and about bringing us up, man. So when this dude speaks, he just jumped up on the scene in 2014, 2015. I've been doing this since 1992, and it's no secret why they've been trying to keep their foot on my neck, bro. They try to keep a brother in a bubble down here in Fort Worth, and I'm thanking you brothers so much for getting the brother's message out of Fort Worth. Because that's what they don't want individuals seeing what's really going on down here. They don't want to see this good old boy system. In Tarrant County, what's going on is old money. See, Dallas has a lot of new money, like, you know, the brother who owns the Mavericks. You know, you have Mark individuals Cuban. Like Mark Cuban. You got dudes who are bringing new money to Dallas, and they're dealing with these things on a different level. But Tarrant County is run by old money, and those people who had old money, like the former mayor that was here, you know, they hire people like Charleston White because they're part of the Republican Party. They're Black Republicans. And I was saying that the picture that just surfaced for him holding the Homeland Security vest and him sitting there, you know, bragging about it. Oh, you jealous ass old washed up niggas. Yeah, I'm the first nigga out of Texas who trained the Homeland Security and this and that. Come on, bro. You that's garbage. I'm not one of those individuals that's under the impression that we are not supposed to be off inside civil servants. We need to be senators. We need to be city council members. We need to have all types of forms in this government if we're going to make this government work for us. If you're going to have police officers in your community, you need to have individuals that come from your community, go join the police and come back and patrol their own damn neighborhoods, because those are the only people that are going to be sensitive to anything going on in the community. So he can't catch me up in those words that I'm against the government and that fast. I'm against the oppressive conditions that the government has been raised from and has been projecting and putting amongst our people all this time. But it's going to take us to change that. And he's not here to try to change that. He's here to try to divide us and keep the problems up, bro. That's all that is.
Exactly. Black Death is a paid entertainment capital right now.
Right.
Black Death is paid entertainment right now. But let me ask you a question, because I know and everybody know it's going to come up. What are the negatives that they're going to try to use against you once they see this?
The negatives is he's going to still talk about me when I was getting high, man. Let me tell you something. When you come home after 12.5 years, man, and the homies ain't standing by the statutes and the etiquettes and principles that you was raised on, I was confused when I came home, man. The old dudes was following the youngsters. When I came home, the dudes that was soft as wet toilet paper was running the communities. It was just a whole bunch of stuff that was upside down, and I didn't understand it. And so when I'm showing that these people is trying to stand on my back and nobody had my back out there, I fell off. I can accept that. I went to myself, alienated, isolated myself, and I got high to deal with it so that I wouldn't put no pistol in my hand and go to land and robbing a bunch of people, because it was upsetting me that I did not understand why these dudes was not standing on the front line being about their community after all this time. There was even things that we did and didn't do in our communities when we was on the streets, bro. It wasn't. Now you got dudes. Our communities are infested with informants right now. Most of these dudes that's riding around doing all this talking and popping these pistols and got most of this dope, they're federal informants. And the government's position is that they're doing this because it's in the best interest of the government so they can find the drug. No, the drugs still hit the streets. The catastrophic destruction that takes place, that takes our children away and takes families away, it still happens. And what the message is, as you sending these young people, is that you can sell drugs as long as you sell it for the feds or the police. No, that's not acceptable, man. We ain't got to take that approach. And so when I started taking a stance against all the nonsense that was going on, all of a sudden the heat got pumped up on me. And bro, listen, I am not ashamed of anything that that has taken place in my life, bro. I'm thankful for it, because I understand most of these kids out here, these old dudes got strung out on drugs right now. I understand that drug scene because God allowed me to go through it. And they can take my piss every day. I'm clean as a whistle, and I'm thankful for that, but I'm also thankful for the experience. So the only thing that they're going to be talking about is something that happened 2 years ago, bro. 2 years ago. And even like I said before, even in my worst condition, I was 70% better than most of these cats out here at their best, bro. I was still out here opening up community centers. I was still out here getting homeless people off the streets. They're not going to tell you about us going off inside these hotel rooms and getting these teenage girls out of these human trafficking circles. They ain't gonna speak to you about that. They ain't gonna talk to you about us taking homeless people out from underneath the bridges and bringing them into our homes and letting them stay into our houses until we got them places to stay. Then they ain't gonna speak to you about that. All they gonna talk about is.
I want to run this clip real quick that we got Build a Better Hood. I want y'all to see this. We're not just talking. We got action. We got stuff. We got documented history of what he said. This ain't some person who just running his mouth. This is a man that is a pillar and a leader. Watch this.
Originally Build a Better Hood, we started in the Serrano Ranch with the after-school art class, which our purpose is to form that intrinsic relationship with the kids, to trust, so that we can start, getting them to allow us to teach them. Because a lot of these kids, what they're used to is people popping up with programs and then leaving. And so what we're doing right now here at the Villa Del Mar, we have the after-school art and reading class, which started off 15, 20 kids, and now it's gotten up to, 40, 50 kids sometimes. The donation closet, we send out requests for donations to, it's a lot of baby requests, a lot of stuff for babies and things of the such. And so right now we're presently doing the women's empowerment class again, the boundaries class, a cultural awareness class for the youngsters, the teenagers, to get them to understand the culture. First it's about the acceptance of what they're in before you can explain to them it's wrong. They need to even understand what it is that they're doing.
Abdul sometimes comes here and he will, some of us will come here every day and ask for a job, and he'll give us some jobs. Like me and another friend came in here and we helped some kids with art. That's another what I do.
And what do you get for doing a job?
At least $5.
We all kind of got together and spoke about what we wanted to do to the community, what we wanted to see for the community, and what we wanted to instill in our kids. And I say that was 4 years ago. To this day, Abdul is still doing exactly what he said he was going to do 4 years ago.
We're all here to create a pathway for all Fort Worth residents to rise up into success. And right now I want to invite all the children to come up here and speak on how they came to know us at We Can Build a Better Hood.
Right now I'm staying home. He gave me a place to stay. I thought I was almost homeless. And I never really had a role model or anything, but when I look at him, he is somebody to look up to. And he gave me another purpose to be positive and do what I'm doing and stay on the right track.
This man goes, everybody always say, oh, let's you do so much, let's you do so much. But man, I'm going to tell you something. Come 2 o'clock in the morning, sometimes Jesse sleep. Jesse sleeps in his bed. But that man right there, that man out there he's in the trenches.
He keeps us out, at the streets and stuff. Cause the trail's like, it's bad down there. So like, he was like, you can be positive around bad stuff.
He's gonna make sure they learn something, and they're gonna be able to take something back with them. He teaches them what I try to teach them all the time. That's purpose. Give them a reason to do something better.
They made a lot of go over there and get out the street.
You're looking at a man with redemption. He's bringing it out all together for just the kids. He's bringing it together for the community in a whole. So when I say I'm behind him 100%, I'm behind him 100%, and I hope you will too.
Everything's gonna get better for all of us. But everything gonna change. It just gotta take time.
So it has to be said and it has to be done that we show this documented history, because y'all got to ask y'all simple selves the question, and I'm a simple person myself. Who has the proof? Who has the receipts? Don't tell me you bought from this store if I ain't never seen your ass in here. We got to check that. Have to check that. For those of you who just new in here and everything like that, it'd be greatly appreciated if you hit the subscribe. If not, that's perfectly fine. If those of you in here who hit the like button that want to fight the algorithms and stuff like that, for anybody who want to make that change and everything like that, these men that are here are not talkers. They are doers. It's a difference when you do this shit all the time. But it's another when you get your elbows ready to put in that work. This is what putting in work, the new putting in work look like. This is what the new putting in work look like. Any one of y'all that want to help or do anything like that, we gonna go ahead and let y'all be able to help. Yes, y'all can donate financially and everything like that. Brother Abdul, you got a cash app or anything?
Yeah, the cash app is the cash sign Abdul Jamal. My first name and my middle name, DAMAL. And then our PayPal is wecanbuildabetterhood@gmail.com. That's wecanbuildabetterhood@gmail.com. And and everything that you've seen that us did, we did that out of our own pocket. We didn't have. I've never had a government grant. I've never had any funding from anybody. That stuff came out of our own pockets. We did that from community support and out our own pockets. All three of the facilities. So the thing is, and those kids that you've seen when they sent me back and I got back out, those kids, those are the ones that I came back and took guardianship of. The youngsters that you see in those videos. You know what I'm saying? And so I have a very close relationship. We just did a video for one of the young brothers who's his little brother was the one that got killed. It was in blue. And so my thing is, bro, nobody wanted to be, I'm not a divisive dude. I'm not about, bumping and doing all that stuff, man. I'm about unification and trying to help uplift people, bro. And it's not about, at the end of the day, people can talk until they blue in the face, but what are you actually doing to show these children, you old heads and all these other individuals out, and I'm talking to Fort Worth right now. Everybody's always speaking about, what they trying to do, and everybody wants prestigious positions to be known for this and that. Those kids don't hear that. We later for that, man. These kids are dying out here. And we need individuals. You ain't got to be from no gang to be a man to be willing to get out here in these streets and pull up on some of these kids and show these kids that they have value, that they priceless, man, that they mean something. And the homies out here that's doing the music, bro. I've been in the music business since I was 13, 14 years old, man. Man, utilize y'all's platforms to come together. You can make more happen collectively than you can individually at any time. Don't let these people divide y'all like that, man. Get your money and put your money back into your community. If you want to impress somebody, go buy your block up. Put your money and buy them houses in your hood and buy your block back up. Because that's what we need to be doing right now is nation building. And again, man, I salute y'all and I thank y'all very much. The elder, Melly Mel, Bry, You know what I'm saying? Seti and Haru, man, I appreciate y'all more than y'all can ever understand for allowing a brother to get up here and clear some of this air out. You know what I'm saying? And that brother has never spoke for the best interest of anybody out of Fort Worth, Texas, bro. Never.
So, Brother Brady, what are some of the things that you're involved in right now currently?
Currently, man, I'm putting a proposal together and gonna lobby the Los Angeles County Probation Department so we can go into the juvenile halls and take a group of men, such as myself, men from the age of 30 to my age, to let them know, you know, a key question I'm gonna pose to them is your end game a dead end game? So that's my first objective, you know, because you can get the cars, you can get the jury, you can get the clothes, you can get everything. Then what? It's a dead end, you know. That's my key objective. What I'm about to put on the table to the Los Angeles County Probation Department, you know, and literally everything else I'm doing. Like I said to you, I'm more of a background person. I'm following, you know, I'm following Melly Mel and Hey Rue as far as in the arena of which direction are we going in, you know, and I support them every way with, you know, my street legacy from a negative to a positive, because a dude alluded today, like, who is Bride D, who is Bride Dog, and then in private, I had to tell him, man, this is me. So what I mean by that is, if you from Compton and you up in age, if you don't know me, you know my name. You know, I'm one of those. I am one of the ones in that former world, you know, and everywhere I go, everybody has a story about me when I go to functions. You know, a negative story, which I'm turning into a positive via United Streets of America, via my man Heru, and via my man Melly Mel. So that's what I'm currently into right now, in the process of lobbying the probation department to let guys know it's another way, man. Because a verbal communication does far more than a written communication when it comes to dudes that are in the trenches.
Brother Aru, let's talk about some of your solutions if we can. You down for that? Because I think a lot of people don't get or don't understand that we're not just talking the talk. This ain't, I don't call it the panel, I call it the table, because we all come to eat and we all come with something. So everybody that's here, we ain't just talking, because too many people get around great-minded individuals and just do this instead of this. So please let us know how you fighting right now.
Well, you know, of course, one of the main things is like the brother said, I'm supporting Bride D and Melly Mel and everything that they want to do, because first and foremost, I have to say this and put it on record, because I think this is what a lot of people haven't thought about. Legislation was passed during the Obama administration that allowed a lot of the guys, and as well as the Trump administration, that allowed a lot of the guys like Brady to start coming home. So when we look at these people who get planted in front of us and they start openly bashing the OGs and doing the things that they're doing, this is a mechanism to try to make sure that the youth that are still in the fire never get the opportunity to meet, discuss, and build with the people like Brady and with the people like Melly Mel that are from those generations that had to go sit down in the 80s and the 90s and so have you. So this is very, very imperative that brothers and sisters understand this, because this is a social mechanism that they always use. So when it's all said and done, we want to be able to go through and highlight this type of information historically and put everything in the proper context to help the youth understand what's really going on. They need to know that the music that they've been listening to has been specifically designed to target a certain age group and demographic and push a mentality that will promote violence and chaos in our communities. They need to know that while all of this is taking place systematically behind the scenes, what is going on is in every state they're creating gang injunctions or gang statutes that will create enhanced sentences. So now a kid who might be 14 or 15 years old, who might have did a breaking and entering or something like that, they might have got a slap on the wrist and got an 18-month sentence. Now it might be a 5 or 7-year sentence because they got a gang enhancement. And these are things that are systematically going on across the board. So even more so, I tell people now all the time that the new crack is now what they're pushing with gangs, because crack was mass marketed with quote unquote the fake war on drugs by George Bush Sr. and Ronald Reagan. I mean, we all know the Freeway Rick Ross story now. We know about Gary Webb, and we know about the fact that the CIA was connected to the Iran Contras and the guns and the drugs and all that type of stuff. So I don't have to go back into all of the stories and reiterate those things. So now what we need to realize is 40 years later, we're looking at the same thing. We're just looking at it in a different scope, but they're doing the same thing to a whole nother generation. Be able to put all the young warriors behind the scenes. So now they're not here to protect the women and children in the community. You know, and until we educate ourselves in these ways, they're going to continually to perpetuate the same cycle over and over again. You know, and I'll just say this because I got to get up out of here, Seti. I'm on the East Coast, so it's literally 12:30 where I'm at. I just want to tell everybody that's watching this, we put the I put the our website, usastreets.com, usastreets.com, I'm sorry, in the comments. Just check us out. And you're going to see that everything that we're doing is about action and it's solution oriented. And we just want to create a better world for these babies, man, because they deserve it.
My bad. I was on mute. That's my fault. I said text it to me and then I'll put it in the description.
Yeah. It's all good.
All right.
And for sure. And man, Seti, man, we ain't met yet, bro, but we kindred spirits, man. I appreciate you. I honor you. I respect you. Brady and Melly Mel, y'all know how I feel about y'all. Y'all my big brothers. And brother Abdul, man, infinite love, man. And I'm thankful that the universe put us on this path together.
I'm thankful, I'm honored, I'm blessed. Appreciate you,
everybody. I'm out.
Salute, bro.
All right, bro.
I mean, his mic is kind of messing up. I'm pretty sure everybody kind of picked up on that, but it was clear enough that, you know, it was still able to get the message out there. So he has a website for y'all. And once again, we're not just talking the talk. We're making sure that we are solution oriented. It is too much hype wagon with words, way too much. So, Melly Mel, let me ask you this question. What you got putting up together for your solutions and everything?
Hey, man, I'm working behind the scenes, you know that. Well, in the next week or so, I will be sitting down with an attorney from the public defender's office and see how we can better get a just across the board understanding of what's going on behind the scenes within the political system out here in the state of California, preferably here either in the Los Angeles or the San Diego community. So I would start that up. I have an attorney already that I'm speaking with, and she's already agreed to sit down with me. So I'm gonna take care of that part, and also I'll be working with American United Streets of America on whatever we want to do over there. And also now I got brother Abdul. So hey man, you know, and yourself, and you know my man is Stan Shepard, man. Anything Stan called me for, I'm on it, man, regardless.
Yeah, Uncle Stan.
So there's a lot of stuff to work. There's a lot of work to be done, and we, I mean, you know, we may get a little tired and we may get a little disgusted, but still we got to push through it, man, and get it done, man, because we can't keep ignoring this stuff like people is ignoring certain circumstances, the way people act and treat our people. You know what I mean? We got to address it all, man. We can't lay down on this stuff, Seti. You know it. because I mean, I was waiting for you to address the situation that's going on in Los Angeles with the Crenshaw Shopping Center. Here's the brothers that put together the money, put together the finances, and they offered way more finance than the property was actually worth, but yet the people gave it to some other people that's not in our culture, that's not don't have melanation in their skin, and they actually got it for under than what we was willing to spend for it. So that's something you probably want to look into and address it as well. You got people down there protesting. So I'm also working with My Tribe Rise. I'm an executive on their board. I'm also working with Ann with Project 43. So I'm working with Green Thumb. I'm on a lot of different boards, brother. So
yeah, I gotta get back down there and stuff and everything like that. And nowadays, I think I got enough cachet that I could sit it down with Big U and then we could figure some shit out. Because unfortunately, right, when a lot of the little homies and everything, and this is no shade to them, they doing their thing, but they got a whole little station set up on Slauson and everything like that, where they selling the shirts and everything, and that's cool, that's dope, that's amazing. But at the same time, they taking our real estate. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard for them to focus on that when you got people that's actively coming at you and everything like that. So it's weird because I can't go back the old nigga. I got to come back the new man, and the new man is so unfamiliar. You know what I'm saying? I ain't get to kick it with a lot of these youngins and stuff like that. Because if I did, I'd be in LA County. I'd be in jail. It wouldn't be no fucking way I wouldn't be in jail.
you know what I'm saying? Be smart about what we're doing, Shetty. You know that. It just, it's just part of it, man. You got to be smart about it.
Yeah, and that's the problem, is because these is bangers. So I got to come in with the OGs. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. Like, if I go a certain route, these is gangbangers. Like, they ain't trying to hear that shit. They finna take off. They finna get their gas at the shilling.
Let me mention this, Shetty. The brother Devin Harmon that I've been working with, that originally had the 283 years to life, that got himself from behind the wall. Well, they just recently arrested him. I did a video for him and uploaded it, and he talked about from the legal standpoint of view. He's very versed in the legalese. So he just been recently picked up out in Louisiana for warrants over here in California. So I gotta check on him and make sure he's okay. So yeah, I got my hands full, bro. But if you guys want to go check out the video, just go to the Hood Postman and look for the guy they call Devin Harmon, man. He's a very intelligent black man, and he's fighting the fight. So I got to help him fight because he's fighting.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that in there. Yeah, Devin Harmon. Okay.
Yeah, he went down to Louisiana protesting and everything. You know what I mean? So these are the people that we got in California, man. We got people that leave our comforts of our state and everything, that where things are a little more relaxed, and they go into these Jim Crow and these where the laws are different and the people are different, but they know they got to go down and help. So that's what they do, man. And he did it, man. He wasn't afraid of it. So, but he called me and I've talked with him briefly. So I'm hoping he get another chance to call me back. And he gave me some case numbers. I got to research the case numbers and see can I get him that information that he needs.
Indeed. Well, sure, Brother Abdul, if you would like to leave us with some more power plays on what you got going on and everything like that, how they can stay connected with you, this is what we'll do. We'll do a roundtable of Exodus real quick, of your social media, your YouTube, your Instagram, however in which you want people to communicate with you. Because the people who remain right now, they're not a part of the hype train. They wanted us to get on here and start talking shit about Charleston White instead of spreading your truth and your impact. So what I would like for you to do now, and we'll just go down clockwise, Brother Abdul, right on, and then Melly Mel, we'll do it that way, and then we'll leave the people with this. Yes, this video will be up. No, this video ain't being taken down. So there ain't no slander that's going on here. I've showed visual proof. So when somebody try to report this, listen, I don't give a shit. It ain't coming down.
Already.
There it is. There. Enough said, brother. Enough said.
I do want to say this to all the brothers. You know, I write curriculums. One of the things that I've been blessed to be able to do is, you know, I have reentry curriculums that are for brothers that after they get out, activities, programs, a coalition that we brought together, preventative measure programs for kids from 12 to 18. One of my books, Chronicles and Memoirs of a Gangster, which you can, you know, look my name up on Amazon.com and Amazon Books. We have a curriculum for brothers that's already in the street. So I want to make those curriculums available. Brian, I heard you talking about going into the juvenile facilities. One of the things that I wrote that particular book for and wrote that curriculum for, it's a workbook that comes with the book. And it talks about the accumulative effect of things that create the perfect vulnerable young man that will be willing to get into a gangs because of inadequate history and inadequate racism conversation, inadequate religion, just the confusion in itself. And so those curriculums are available. And also we have the toxic culture curriculum, because I believe that anybody who is going to be trying to work in our communities, the toxic culture curriculum starts from 1619, goes up to 1863 when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, the 100 years of Jim Crow from 1863 to 1964, the red line in the districts in 68, the 71 war on drugs, and it shows the accumulation of things that took place that put us in these conditions. So if anybody is going to make a real sincere effort to reach people in our communities, they need to know the history of us and what took place that got us in those conditions in the first place. So it's a course called the Toxic Culture course, along curriculums available to you brothers, you know, out there if y'all can use them. But the meat of it is, it's the same thing happening in New York and LA.
So how will we be able to get the curriculum?
In a state of oppression because of what we don't. That being said, you know, buildabetterhood.com. Check us out. We have a network, man, where we bring in people. We got a black
Say
Netflix.
That one more time. Say that one more time. Say that one more time.
It's KOTF Network, Urban Fire, Ben's Network. We can do anything NBC, CBS, and ABC can do. We can do anything that any radio station can do. We try to bring podcast shows and anything that's black on. We got a black Netflix. We have a black Facebook. You know, it's written by a brother who was one of the original Rolling 60s that came down here back when the Crippins just started. He went to prison and then went to college for telecommunications and built this network, man. The brother's a genius. I'm the executive director over there with the brother, man. We got black films and black TV shows, a black newscast. And so what we're trying to do is, you know, we got $1.3 trillion that we spend amongst our people. And we don't have a getting money problem. We have a what to do with the money problem. If we started putting some of that money back in within our own community, we wouldn't need anybody to help us do anything. But we're only spending 3 to 4% of that money with ourselves. So what we're trying to do is build a network. And I'm going to say this last thing. In the industry, the radio versions, even YouTube, they are paying us and our artists for our creativity pennies on the dollar. Beyonce or somebody might get 18 cents to 20-something cents per spin on the radio. What we're doing at KOTF Network, our bottom line is we're paying $1.07 per spin. So just imagine if we drove the traffic toward our network. The network was designed to give the artist and whoever brings their material to the platform to give them the lion's share, and we take the pennies on the dollar. You know, what anything that we can do with United Streets of that we have all our resources at y'all's brothers' feet for anything that we can do, man. You know, United Hoods of America is in 21 different states with artists, producers, from all different types of genres. And you know what we want to do, man, we just want to connect with the brothers and put our resources on the table and make them available for brothers so we can uplift as many as people as we can, brothers, in this fight with us.
Absolutely.
You can join me on Facebook too, Abdul Chappell, and on my Twitter account is Chappell Abdul. I mean, my brothers, man, you know, like I said, man, against you, I ride against with you. Anybody who well, man, you know what I'm saying? Because I understand how this goes, man. It's very few and far in between when it comes to people that are willing to stand up against the beast and stand for what's right in our communities, bro. So I salute y'all, man. Y'all a breath of fresh air.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
As far as my contact, you can go United Streets of America, our YouTube channel, UnitedStreetsOfAmerica.com. We are currently exploring publishing. We'll be interviewing Gangster from Santana tomorrow night. We'll live stream with him and talk about a variety of endeavors he has going on that can affect all of us. We're in direct correlation with the Hood Postman. So any info that I don't present that's available, you can always find it via Melly Mel, who's also co-founder of USA. You know, so with that being said, man, I applaud you. I thank you once again. I can't say it enough. I can't convey how much, I appreciate you, brother. You are a pillar of our community. And Melly Mel knows I don't work with feelings, bro. I tell them all the time, check your feelings at the door with me. I'm not saying nothing to flatter you. I'm saying sincerely what you do. And the paraphrase old Bill Cosby, the proof is in the pudding. And you fall more in the pudding, brother. I love you, man. I love you, brother. All right. That's real.
That's all love, man. You welcome here anytime you want. Anytime you want.
Salute, man. Salute, brother.
Like I said, I will take myself out, literally out. Let you run it. Shoot me a text when you're done. And the platform is freely yours, free of charge, no nothing.
Man, you're a gift from the creators, bro.
Hey, without y'all, there's no me. Without y'all, there's no me. I can't even front. Like, I did the whole mixtape called King of the Crips. I got a lot of backlash for it, but I didn't give a shit either. So, it's only right that I sit with the legends.
Don't say it, Crip. It ain't easy.
Say that.
But hey, man, I love you for real, man, and I really love what you do.
Right on.
Well, Riley, thank you for blessing us with your presence. I appreciate you, Riley.
Right. As me, right off spoke before, I'm one of the co-founders of the United Streets of America. Also, I'm the Hood Postman. You can find me at the Hood Postman on YouTube. I'm the Hood Postman on Instagram. I'm the Hood Postman on Twitter. So it's DAHOODPOSTMAN. One word, the Hood Postman. And I'm Melly Gibson on Facebook. I think I'm maxed out on Facebook, but definitely tap into the Hood Postman on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and share. Click the notification bell, man, and drop a comment, man. What can I say, man? You drop that comment, I'm going to answer back. I guarantee you, man. I'm going to give you a heart just for stopping by.
Indeed. It's right there in his name right there. So all you got to do is really just put the @ sign. We're going to make sure that, first off, Melly Mel, OG Melly Mel, he for sure got an interview coming up. We just got to set it up and everything like that.
Okay.
I got to take this trip, but
good enough, man. I'm
whenever
going to send you some stuff. I'll send you some stuff, man, where I did something with this news report out of Washington, D.C. I actually got one of my homeboys out of federal prison during the COVID. So I got to send you that clip, man. So you'll have that as well.
Indeed. We'll queue up everything you need me to queue up, and then we're going to do it, the right way and the righteous way. So definitely y'all look out for that, because the education that he going to give you can't learn in school or a book.
Nah, man. Man, salute to you, bro. I appreciate you. Love you, man. And we'll talk soon.
All love. I appreciate you highly. For those of you who's sticking around, I want y'all to look at this clip, because I think this clip, I purposely left it out because I think it's massively important. So I'm going to drop this clip, and then I want y'all to stick around real quick, and then I'm going to bless y'all to get up out of here.
We didn't have a lot of brothers who had organizations that was reaching out to us in the streets. I grew up poor. You know what happened when you're poor and broke? You want something, right? There's a saying that he who controls images controls minds. And he who controls minds is worried little or less about how big you is, how slick you think you is, how much money you think you got. You wear your hair, you buy your clothes, you put yourself in a certain manner based off something that you see with your eyes. Images are important. Be careful and watch the images that you watch, because a lot of this stuff is just set up for y'all's failure. Because if I can control your perception, If I can control how you perceive yourself, I can control your destiny before you even know what your destiny is. Understand, as African and Latino children, you were the first teachers of the planet, right? Because the Latino children, as we call ourselves Mexicans or Hispanics or whatever proper name they want to use, your original people come from Aztec, Toltecs, Mayans, and Incas, who are original descendants that come from Africa. Right. At one point in time, Mandingos, Aztecas, and Mayans all mingled with each other. That's how the pyramids got built off in South America. Right. So at one point in time, you were the teachers of the world. And so what they had to do, and the reason why I'm saying they don't fear you because of your Crips and Bloods to your neighborhood. They fear you because you were the first teachers of science, mathematics, physics, astrology, astronomy. You the ones who taught the world. You are. When you look at yourselves, you are the future. I'm humbled to be in front of y'all. And then we got the problem between the Black and Latino communities. Come on, man, do a little studying in your research. When we talk about the Aztecans, Toltecans, Mayans, and the Incans, when we talk about the Mandingos and the Ashantes, me and our people was already associating with each other years before Columbus was even a thought. We were already building civilizations. We were already ruling empires. But they disconnect you from that because they need you to be up inside this zombie state. And it's a lot of money in gang banging. I ain't talking about for the gangsters. I'm talking about for the prison complex. I'm talking about for the school to prison pipeline. They don't want to change nothing. Some of y'all right now might be going through the same situation. Yeah, I hear what y'all talking about. When I get back to the house, there ain't no food in the refrigerator. My little brother needs something. I need clothes. Most of the time, you think that you're doing and dressing the way you dress because that's the way you feel you're doing it because you're influenced by something that you see here. It's your visions right now at this age that has the world trembling right now. Right. It's those thoughts sitting inside your mind that want to be the leaders or want to be on that television set and let the world hear what you have to express to the world that has everybody in fear. It's very rare that you have men that are sincere about coming out and helping you because I'm going to tell you now, the system is designed for you to lose.
This is all important. And it's not important because I say it's important. It's important because history deems it important. It's important because somebody can steal somebody else's story, take it, run with it, and other people believe it's fact over fiction. See, nowadays, it's stranger than fiction right now. Let's keep it a stacked bundle, right? Like I always tell y'all. It's stranger than fiction right now. And what I need people to understand is, I told y'all from the beginning, what I'm tasked with doing is bridging the gap between the youthful and the masterful. I didn't come here to make problems and create anything, waves, negative. I came here to do exactly what I do. I stand on principle. So for all of those who were in here trolling, now that you got the truth, what are you going to do with it? Now that y'all have the truth, what will you do with it? Y'all settle for distractions? Or y'all going to settle for truth? So for all those individuals who talk about, oh, Seti Nash ain't from here, ain't from there, and everything like that, let me tell you something like this. I don't have to be. My reputation speaks for itself. And if y'all understand truth and reality, you can live in that way. We changing the narrative here. We are changing the narrative, not by force, but by action. So I thank you all. We had hundreds of people in here. I didn't know it was going to hit that hard. I truly didn't. But let me ask y'all to do this real quick, please. Make sure y'all check out, hit that link. Check out that cocaine interview, bro. I got real West Coast legends. I'm going to get some down South legends, some East Coast legends, some Midwest legends. We're going to stop them from going to do the bullshit, the controversial ass questions and all that stuff and everything. Let us give these people their stories because they have gems we need to pick up. If we don't learn how to win, we will keep on losing. And those who are bound to lose will pick up loser habits. Ain't y'all sick and tired? Because I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I appreciate y'all for spending your time. Check out that cocaine interview. Thank you all. I'll catch y'all in the next one.